Alrighty, we got our second match for this round. I'm sure everyone knows Tristan, Pew, playing the Rokket deck for quite a while.
He is going up against Lewis. We are not sure what game this is, but this is a different set of teams. They are playing two completely different decks from the decks that were featured in the first feature match. We do see two hand traps coming down against Tristan, YuGiOh and Valor, but Tristan plays through both of them, which
Yeah,
is
it's like might still have a
quite
pretty
good.
strong board.
Yep, he does go for the Erratic Seal here. I think the end board is going to be Erratic Seal with the Buster Lock on Savage Dragon, which is honestly pretty good against every deck.
Oh, maybe not. Safer.
Alright, so he goes for Safrit. That's fair actually. Maybe he knows the matchup here, so like, I mean, it's safe to assume that this isn't game one. So he knows he probably knows his opponent's playing Altergeist. So, I mean, equipping Safrit is definitely the better choice here because like, you can just Safrit back your Levianeer in the graveyard and use it to clear your opponent's board during turn 3.
Yeah, there's nothing else to really equip too. The Buster Savage, or Buster Dragon, really doesn't do anything here. Altergeist isn't summoning from the extra deck very much.
And with his opponent starting with only 3 cards, this isn't looking very good for him.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. I'm not sure which game this is, if it's game 2, game 3.
We really don't know what game this is. His opponent elects to go to the battle phase, so...
Seeing which card is equipped to.
I believe it's equipped to the Erratic Seal, which does make sense because you want to make it bigger than Maliseek. So Tristan goes for a really good play here. He decides to not bounce Lewis's Nibiru, which is quite a good play to be honest, because it just means that there will be no Nibiru to play through turn 3 unless Lewis opened multiple copies of that card. So he bounces his own boot sector, and now he's going to trigger Seal's second effect, I assume.
Opts not to.
Opts not to.
Yeah, I think that's a really solid play. Bouncing a Nibiru doesn't really do anything for you.
Yep.
Save the Union Carrier, but that's really low value.
He goes for Brotar here since the monster he controls got destroyed, which is something like really good about this deck. The amount of follow-up it can generate after making a board through hand traps is just so much card advantage, and like the monsters are so big and hard to deal with, especially if you're playing a deck like Altergeist. So it's not looking very good for his opponent here.
Protocol in this draw phase. Probably has a Faker in hand.
Tristan opts to negate the Faker from hand, which is obviously the correct
Scoops it
play.
up.
Alright, so this was game 2, so they're going to be going to game 3 here. Altergeist is going to go first in game 3, which is not
That's
ideal.
really strong.
Yeah, but Tristan is known for seeing all of his side deck cards after siding, so it's
Yeah,
fine.
so we'll see. But yeah, Altergeist going first versus Rokket deck is really strong. The Rokket deck can play too well, Drew. Yeah, Altergeist in general going first is really strong.
That's true. I mean, just the Rokket deck also just like, that's one of the drawbacks it has. It can't really play through that many traps. Sorry. So you have to like, as you see, play like a low deck count, like 50 instead of the 60 that we saw last time Tristan played this as in an event. That's because you just want to see your side deck cards. It's that important. However, Lewis sets 4 so far. He sets 4 and passes. So there is a chance that he just didn't see Faker. I mean, Altergeist isn't the most consistent deck. He flips a pointer, which is pretty strong actually. And he does have Faker.
And he has the Faker.
That's quite big. Let's see if Tristan has reboot. Do you agree with playing something like a pointer of the Red Lotus in a deck like Altergeist?
I don't really like it. I think your games, I think they can go pretty long, especially if you don't open Faker. Like if you don't open Faker, the pointer becomes pretty dead. And I think the stronger cards to beat Lightning Storm.
Yeah, I mean you could argue that even something like Dark Bribe is better than a pointer, right?
Yeah. I think a pointer is really good in already good hands.
Mm-hmm.
But if your hand's already good, doesn't matter too much.
Alright, so
Banishes the Ash.
The Ash.
Probably doesn't. Oh, he doesn't have a Lightning Storm. Assume.
Maybe he does. Maybe Lewis just has an interruption for that Lightning Storm.
Yeah, definitely possible. Really Judgment.
So let's see if
Yeah,
Tristan can get through this.
Those are 3 real trap cards. This could be a really tough game for Tristan.
Do you agree with flipping the multi-faker in the spot? Using the multi-faker in the spot?
Well, I think it's solid since you know what their hand is. That's just so valuable.
That's reasonable, yeah. Right, so Chaos Space comes down, gets met by a Solemn Judgment, so that's one trap. Maybe a reason he opted to use Faker there is because all of his other traps are reactive and not proactive, so he can't.
Yeah, that would make a lot of sense.
Does Tristan have any other play? We'll have to wait and see, but I mean, he only has 3 cards in hand. Normal Summons Tracer, which is an okay start, but Lewis decides to immediately use Silk Otis to bounce the Tracer. Tristan chains the Tracer, so he will be able to replace that Tracer with another body. However, he is locked into Darks for the rest of the turn because of that.
Yeah, being locked in the Darks this early can be really awkward.
That's very true. His opponent is thinking here. He does know Tristan's hand, so he's advantaged here, I would like to say. But something important to note is that he's on 3,000 life points. That can hurt him quite a bit in this game.
It goes with Striker Dragon, pretty standard stuff.
Opts to use Striker Dragon's effect to add back Tracer and go for the follow-up. I mean, Tristan is honestly not in that bad of a position because you know his Ash comes back in the end phase. So that will deal with the multi-faker. Even if Lewis has any proactive trap cards.
Yeah, this game could really go either way at this point. This determines what those last 2 sets are.
I mean, I would even go as far as to argue that Tristan is favored here because he's up on card advantage and he's also up, like, his opponent is very low on life points, which is very risky in this kind of matchup where, like, just one big dragon can be game here.
Yeah, it's having, like, if you ever see the Levy in here, that's incredibly strong.
I mean, it's in his graveyard right now, but I mean, even just having Boot Sector Tracer for next turn means that a guaranteed Savage, and Savage on its own is just game. So like, his opponent is like forced to stop that play, otherwise he loses the game. And then Tristan will still have like a 3-card hand to play his game. He goes set 1, so I'm assuming he's going to be ending his turn here. The Ash comes back, which is really good for him. Let's see how this goes.
What cards are you setting in the Rokket deck?
Good
It's a bit
question.
weird to see. Because you wouldn't want to set Impermanence here. Because you have no cards on field, there's no reason to. Possibly called by the grave.
Oh yeah, that might be called by the grave actually. So
I'm
we
not
do
sure what
see
that's
that
stopping.
Lewis has Trap Trick here. That's quite interesting. So he did have a proactive trap, but he did still elect to use his Faker pretty early.
Yeah, I guess just knowing his opponent's hand. He knew there's nothing that could punish it.
Tristan is still thinking in the end phase, so maybe he has something. He has Cosmic, alright, so Tristan, technically he did see side cards, you know?
Yeah. That's Tristan.
Elects to target the other backer, which was Torrential. That's actually pretty good for him here.
That's really good to get rid of.
That's quite strong, yeah. And I mean, now we know that Lewis has a Manifestation, a Soul Quotas in his graveyard, a Multi-Faker in hand, and a top deck. So. Oh my god, that is probably the best top deck he could have had. Yeah, I mean...
Yeah, Tristan might just have to ash that. You have to think on this for a bit.
You have to ash this, right? Like, surely.
Yeah, knowing he has a Faker is rough, but Extravagance is so scary.
I mean, I think we were talking about what his set could potentially be. If it's called by the grave, I think you definitely ash this, because Lewis flips Manifestation at that point. And then you called by the grave the target, which is the Soul Quotas. And then he can't use Soul Quotas on your next turn, like on Tristan's next turn, because of what called by the grave's effect reads. So he's not in that bad of a position if he ends up doing that. However, if it's not called by the grave, then he might have to think about whether or not he ashes this or not.
He lets it go. That's rough.
That's very interesting.
So it really makes you wonder what a set card is.
Yeah, that's true.
Possibly a second Cosmic? Oof. The Melisy coming down is rough.
That's huge. That's very, very huge. I mean... So it wasn't called by the grave.
I think that's... makes not ashing the Extravagance a bit questionable.
Mm-hmm. Here goes the Faker here, so that's gonna be a hell of a lot of damage. Funny thing is, Tristan can still win this, honestly.
Yeah, it's definitely possible. He's not ending on any monster negations, potentially, determining on what the last card in hand is.
But I mean, there is a fairly good chance that the card that he drew into is either a trap card or a hand trap, right? So
yeah, it would make a lot of sense.
Alright, so we're expecting a couple of Hextias to come down here, probably. Just gaining so much advantage, recycling the Manifestation with Soul Quotas, and just like establishing the huge Altergeist board.
Yeah, he's gonna be ending on a lot here.
That's very true. Yeah, I think Tristan got slightly punished by not ashing the Extravagance.
Yeah, I'm not sure I can agree with that play.
Yeah, me neither. But
he gets a Faker off.
Reasons.
Yeah. We didn't ash. Yeah, that's weird. I don't know. Just ended up not ashing anything.
And at this point we know Tristan's entire hand, right?
I believe so.
This is point goes set 2 pass. Yeah, this is very, very rough for him. This game might just be unwinnable at this point. Alright, activate boot sector launch. Lewis unlocks the negated.
And
that's it.
Up.
That's this game. Very weird of Tristan to not ash the Extravagance. That might have cost him the game, but I mean, even if he did ash the Extravagance, was there much he could have done? Like, his opponent would have still ended on a protocol.
Yeah, no, he just doesn't have much in hand. Like, we don't know what he top decked, but Tracer boot sector is not very strong.
Yeah, so Tristan loses that game. Fortunately for him, his team may have still been able to win out the 3v3 component of that game, so he might just be fine.
Yeah, I believe Tristan lost the last round too, so he might just get carried. We'll see.
It's true.
They were 1-0 this round. Yeah.
He can get quite carried a lot of the times, so it's fine. I think this means we are done with round 2. We'll be back for round 3 soon enough. I mean, time is gonna be called relatively soon, and it's only gonna be a matter of time until the pairings for the next round are up, and we should be back to feature that round for you guys. Until then, stay tuned and make sure you stay safe, I suppose.